Adam Sandler has put out a lot of horrible movies, so it really takes something to be the worst of the worst. Not only would I say that That's My Boy is easily one of the worst Adam Sandler films, but it might be the worst film I've ever seen. Calling it a film is an insult to anybody who has ever picked up a camera and attempted to create actual art.
Oh my God, are you alright, guy?
Now, I'm not saying that all films must be high art to be enjoyable. Sometimes you're in the mood for something like Jackass or Sack Lunch.
Enjoy sack lunch.
I will.
You can enjoy films on different levels because you understand what they're trying to accomplish. That's My Boy doesn't fall into this category because not only does it not understand what it takes to make a comedy, but it doesn't understand what it takes to be a film. It also doesn't help that it was produced by a production company that doesn't understand filmmaking.
Bucky Larson, born to be a star! Let's get fucked up! Rated R!
Now, let's talk about the worst Sandler film in my rankings. That's My Boy. The film introduces us to a young Donnie Berger, a teenager in school. And that's about as much as he's developed.
Besides, I'm just not into girls anymore.
Dude, I'm into guys too.
No. That's not what I meant.
Donnie has the hots for his teacher. She clearly likes him back, and one day in detention decides to sex him. So here we start with That's My Boy's biggest problem. It glorifies statutory rape. And if anyone watching simply shrugs this off with, so, she's hot. If when I was a teenager, my teacher was that hot, I would totally want to have sex with her. Cool, dude. Let me explain to you why this shouldn't be celebrated in a film. South Park actually tackles this topic in the season 10 episode, Miss Teacher Bangs a Boy. In the episode, Ike's female teacher falls in love with Ike, and they constantly have sex.
Ike made it no.
The police in this episode don't care because...
Some young boy's having sex with Miss Stevenson?
Yes.
Nice.
What?
So South Park is actually making fun of society for thinking this way, and are mocking the very idea that That's My Boy celebrates. In the end, the teacher dies, Ike learns his lesson, and everything goes back to normal.
Well, looks like once again the dog has prevailed.
And this came out in 2006, 6 years before That's My Boy. So the topic could clearly be done right with the right storytelling, but the problem is That's My Boy is basically a 112-minute old Coors Light commercial.
AM twins.
So right after we hear a grown woman rape a teenage boy, we're treated to a montage of extremely gross, overly sexualized scenes that are meant to be jokes. Please just look at this and imagine if the tables were turned and this was about a 13-year-old girl sleeping with her really hot male teacher. So anyway, they have a ton of sex and eventually get caught in one of the dumbest ways possible. She runs away and the whole school cheers with excitement. Cool. So obviously the teacher's arrested because, you know, laws. Then during the courtroom scene, God, I hate Adam Sandler courtroom scenes. It's revealed that the teacher is pregnant because apparently no one saw her walk into the room. Anyway, the kid will be sent to foster care when it's born, and as soon as Donnie turns 18, he has to take care of it.
Take care of our baby, Donnie!
Miss McGurkle, I'll never stop loving you!
That is just f***ing mental.
We flash forward, and now Donnie is estranged from his son. Thank God. Then we learn all kinds of awesome stuff about Donnie, like he has an awful Boston accent,
I'm sorry, I'm just freaking out here. I don't got 43 grand.
is an alcoholic who never shows signs of being drunk, and that he has a stripper friend. You see the joke there, guys? She's fat. That's the joke. And that brings me to the second biggest problem That's My Boy has. There's a term in comedy called punching down. This is the difference between being a comedian and just being a bully. Now, I understand that comedy is an art, so there's no hard set rules, but this is the best way I could describe why this movie doesn't work.
What the f*** happened to her?
You, Kenny.
Hey, what's up, RoboCop?
Back to the film. Donnie has to go visit his accountant because plot point, and the part of the accountant is played by Rex Ryan, who was the head coach of the New York Jets at the time and absolutely hated the New England Patriots. So there's some jokes in there about how his character is a big Patriots fan.
Come on, Donnie.
Don't screw up my Tom Brady poster. It's my favorite one. Look at that jawline. Just the right amount of scruff.
This is the closest thing that you'll get to a joke in this thing, and it's just a cameo joke. Donnie finds out that he owes the IRS $43,000. So the first thing that he does is he puts a bet on a fat guy to win the Boston Marathon. Because he's fat. That's the joke. His second plan of action is to lie to his son to get him to visit his mom in prison so he could have it filmed for some tabloid talk show that will pay him.
Smell that? Smell it, Donnie?
What, that's not me. She probably cut the cheese.
No, ratings. I smell ratings.
Our hero, everybody. Next, we meet Donnie's son, Todd, played by Andy Samberg. Now, Andy Samberg actually does a fine job in this film.
Don't we look great?
Yeah, well, you look good. I kind of look like a ventriloquist.
His character is just completely one-dimensional and is just there as a punching bag for awful Adam Sandler, but it's really not his fault. We find out that Todd has a good job and is about to get married to Jamie, who has a brother in the Marines, played by Milo Ventimiglia, who is just extremely annoying and acts like a cartoon character.
Finish him, Father McNally! Finish him!
Then we're quickly introduced to the other cast of characters who have zero likability, like Todd's boss.
Well, guys, this weekend, mi casa es su casa. You know, every member of my staff are lucky to be in this country, so feel free to abuse the shit out of them. Go get the fucking bags.
The racism doesn't stop there. Let's meet the bride's mom.
Freaky.
I don't know, it's just something I can do.
Are you sure you're not a Chinaman?
Oh, that's inappropriate.
White.
Anyway, Donnie shows up to start his plan and finds out that his son Todd is getting married. So he decides to crash the wedding festivities. And that's basically the rest of the movie. It's just random scenes of Donnie being a and Andy Samberg getting upset. The problem is, for this to work, we would actually have to side with Sandler's character, and you shouldn't. He has no redeeming qualities and is not funny.
Hey, look, this might seem weird, but do you think you would ever
Your wife? Yeah, I mean, I love Sue. She's a hot little number.
Well, you know, I was just gonna ask you for an autograph, but...
Oh, I'm sorry. On a or
a piece of paper would be fine.
Photo.
Our hero. I mean, there's a scene where they just use the "What's Up" joke from that Bud Light commercial that first aired in 1999.
Is that back? Because I've been dying for that to come back.
What's up? What's up?
What's up?
So then we go to the wedding rehearsal and the pastor beats up Todd because Todd made some sort of offhand comment about how his father is not a good parent. Don't try to figure it out. It doesn't make any sense.
That's my boy!
Then we go to Todd's bachelor party, which is at a spa, and everyone is having a great time. Except for Donnie, because he's upset that they're not getting drunk and being dangerous to society. And because everything has to be about Donnie, he forces everyone to leave to go to that strip club that he hangs out at all the time.
You know, I have worked very hard on this night, Don, and you're being just plain rude.
Phil, no, Phil!
Again, I don't understand how we're supposed to like Donnie here. It's his son's bachelor party and he's doing something that he wants to do, but you can't handle just one night of giving something up for him and force everyone to go to the strip club that you basically live at. So Todd ends up getting drunk and finally enjoying some time with his dad because the script says so. After the strip club, they meet up with Vanilla Ice. Oh yeah, forgot to tell you, Donnie's friends with Vanilla Ice.
I never did knock boots with your mother.
Oh, Mom. Yeah, she did like to
And then they go on what can only be described as a rampage. They go to an ice skating rink and assault people. They steal a 6-pack of beer and get shot at. Then the guy who shot at them decides to join them for some reason.
You know, they seem like fun guys.
They run into a candlestick bowling alley and annoy everybody. They expose themselves to people who are just trying to eat at a restaurant, one of which is clearly an underage girl. Then, the man with a shotgun points it directly at people and attempts to murder them. These are our heroes. The next scene is Donnie teaching Todd how to ride a bike, which is what the montage scene should have been. They should have went to the spa, they could have had their dumb spa jokes, Donnie could learn that he actually enjoys doing something for somebody else other than himself, and then we have a montage of Donnie teaching Todd all the things he should have when he was growing up, like riding a bike, shaving, and you could do fun little jokes in there. Instead, they went with this weird, illogical, and psychopathic thing. Anyway, Todd loves his dad because they got drunk together and committed crimes, so he decides to visit his mom in jail like Donnie has been suggesting to do the whole time. But at this point, Donnie has changed his mind and doesn't want to take advantage of his kid anymore. But it's too late. Todd is already on his way, and it just happens to be the same day and time that the film crew was scheduled to be there. Oh no. So he gets upset and kicks Donnie out of his life.
If I give you 43 grand, you don't have to go to jail.
I will pay you back, I swear to God. Would you loan me the money?
No! F you! Get your out of my boss's house!
No, don't do that! That's my boy there. Oh no.
I think he just shit his pants. Tell me you got that on camera.
Finally, we get to Donnie's turning point. How can Donnie redeem himself and make up for the years of psychological torture and pain that he has put his son in? Should he finally change and become a better person? Become someone who has learned from his mistakes and isn't just coasting by on life, making others take care of him? You know, kind of like what Adam Sandler's character in Billy Madison did. He learned not to be a drunk, worthless
Stop looking at me, Swan!
And changes his life while still keeping what makes him unique.
Yeah, Billy! Billy's #1, yeah!
Nope, not here, not in this movie. They decide that Donnie doesn't need to change, but Todd does. You see, Todd has picked the wrong people to be around. So to win Todd back, Donnie does some investigative work and finds out that Todd's soon-to-be wife is having sex with her brother.
Wait, what am I seeing? With each other?
Oh, and also her brother isn't in the Marines. I don't know why that's in there. I think the incest thing is enough. So Donnie decides to wait until the next morning so he can reveal this information to Todd in the most movie trope way possible. You know, learn about all this stuff in front of a bunch of people that you know. So there's some dumb back and forth, but it comes out that Jamie is into incest stuff.
What? What? Ah! You f***ed your brother?
Oh my God!
F***ing white people.
Oh, and not only that, we find out that she has been sleeping with a ton of people, including Todd's boss. So because of this, Donnie is no longer considered the most toxic person in Todd's life. Oh, and we get that what's up joke again.
What's up? What's up?
Nice. So Todd decides to just break things off with everybody else that he knows and becomes best friends with his dad again. But what about that $43,000 that Donnie owes the IRS, you might be asking, but probably don't care about? Well, turns out that fat guy that they put the bet on at the beginning of the movie actually ends up magically winning. So the whole thing was pointless. This movie is just so off-putting. The only person who's slightly funny is Vanilla Ice because he's the only person not punching down. The joke's on him and he's going with it. I think he does a great job. That is the only nice thing I'm gonna say. That's My Boy combines everything wrong with an Adam Sandler film and just mushes it into one giant ball of idiocy. I didn't even mention the awful product placement that seems to be in every other frame. This is one of those rare movies that skips that moment where it's so bad it's good and just goes right into making you feel like complete garbage. I mean, I felt weird for days after watching this. Movies like The Do-Over or Grown Ups or Jack and Jill, those things, they just pass over you. You forget about them almost immediately after watching them, but this sticks with you. Don't watch it. The movie has 0 point and attempts to tackle delicate topics with the intelligence and grace of a walrus.
Yo, man, let's get out of here. Word to your mother.
Oh, Mom.
It is complete corporate branded garbage that is trying to be passed off as edgy comedy, when in fact, no one involved in this understands comedy enough to get into a level 1 improv class. I really do hope Adam Sandler has changed his ways, and I think the social and political climate has changed enough where he can no longer get away with making the same worthless movies that he once did. I really do hope that the Marowitz Stories is a change for Adam, but I can't expect much from someone who read the script for this movie and said, yeah, let's do it.
You gotta show my son your later. Promise me. Promise me.
Thanks so much for watching. If you didn't see my other Adam Sandler movie reviews, you could check them out here or here. Also, if you want to hear more about Adam Sandler movies and Kevin James films, our podcast is at Adam Sandler Please Stop. There's a link in the description. Subscribe, like, do whatever you want. You're your own person.
Yo, man, let's get out of here. Word to your mother.